How we doing, everybody? It's good to see everyone. So, as Cherry K put here, I wanted to just go over that, start the show off with that. Summer Moon Utah Wells is missing from Rogersville. She is 5 years old, weighs 40 pounds, 3 feet tall, and she was last seen wearing gray pants and a pink hoodie type deal. If you have any information, or you have any information on the Toyota Tacoma truck, that is maroon with a ladder rack on the bed and white buckets, about 98 to 2000. Call 1-800-TBI-FIND, and make sure you call 1-800-TBI-FIND with credible information. They don't want your theories. They don't want your speculations. They just want information, solid information that could lead to the whereabouts of Summer. I hope everybody's doing well. There's already a lot of people in here, so I'm not going to go ahead and go through everyone's names, but I'm glad that everyone is here. I appreciate you. I don't even need these in right now. But so the other day, Don Wells, Summer's dad, gave an interview to a YouTuber, and I listened to it, and it's funny. The main reason I'm even going on here to talk about it is just because I said I would. I didn't find any discrepancies in anything that he was saying. You could tell that this is a guy that's just constantly having to watch how he delivers anything that he says, because it's going to be picked apart and dissected by the public. And one thing that stuck out to me was that the house was searched. I would think that if they found something that made them seem guilty, or look guilty in any way, then one of them would be under arrest, or both of them. We know that Don was at work, and he lives, or he works about 45 minutes from his home. And I noticed that one thing people were pointing out was that it was odd that he got home before the police arrived. I don't find that odd at all. When it comes to something like that, I'm sure that parents call their kids in missing all the time when they're not missing, and the police don't treat that as an emergency. It never happens that way. I remember just to get, well, I won't get into that. But yeah, the police, I don't imagine that area, they're real busy considering how rural it is. So I don't find any of that really suspicious at all, that he got there before the police, because if it's not an emergency, the police will prioritize, and they know that they're just going over there to take statements, find out what's going on. And usually, unless a child has been missing for 24 hours, that's usually what they do. Now, obviously, they dealt with this swiftly as soon as they got all the information that they needed, and they put out an Amber Alert pretty quick, after they upgraded it from an endangered child alert to an Amber Alert pretty quickly. Kristen Kathleen, yeah, me too. And mostly, I just feel for these parents. I feel for these parents right now, because they're going through so much, and finally the community seems to be shifting towards being supportive of them, rather than looking for reasons to look for things that make them look suspicious, like as if they were responsible for Summer's disappearance. So luckily, finally, the community seems to be shifting in that direction. So I'm really, really grateful for that. Again, dude, my man Mike King from Profiling Evil dropped another video recently, and I think it was yesterday or earlier today. I think it was earlier today. But I watched it, and again, I loved it, because this is a professional criminal profiler, retired, and he was, it was a nice short video, and he basically just said, I'm not seeing anything here that makes them look guilty. We're talking about a guy who profiled people for a living, read their body language, dissected the things that they say, the things that everybody in the community seems to think that they're experts at. This guy actually is. And so he just went ahead and goes, I got it. And puts out this video, and he's the nicest guy too. Like when he's delivering this information, like he doesn't get out there all hot-headed like I do, like, hey, shut up. he's just basically like, well, it's not helping anything. He didn't seem upset. He was absolutely totally rational in the way that he delivered the information. I'm comfortable at this point. I'm really comfortable at this point, where I feel like the YouTubers, even the person who conducted the interview, I had issues with this person before. Actually, the reason why she and I had a falling out was because she dealt with another case in the opposite way, and it seemed like she kind of learned from her mistakes, and delivered this information pretty well. She did say a couple of things. She was live today. She said a couple of things that I was just like, what? Kind of throwing a little shade that they aren't out, that they're playing in the park with the kids, rather than being out there to, putting up flyers. And I mean, but where are you going to put up flyers? And who's to say that they didn't already do that? You know what I mean? Like, who's to say that they didn't go to every Dollar General and put up flyers already? Who's to say that they didn't, put up flyers in the local Walmart there? And who's to say that law enforcement told them the less you do, the better? I mean, Candace is quoted in saying exactly what I always feel that a parent should be doing. Because what I found suspicious about Chris Watts right off the bat, it was, yes, that he spoke about his kids in a past tense, but he was laughing, and it was just, I was like, and even still, I wasn't quick to go, this guy did it. I wasn't quick to publicly say that. In my head, did I find it unsettling how he delivered this information? It didn't make sense. The story didn't make sense. The way that he was describing his kids did not. It only looked suspicious. But what I find interesting, what I found most interesting, was when he said he had to stay at his neighbor's house because he couldn't be in that house. That's what he said. I can't be in that house. Like, why? If my kids go missing, if my family goes missing, I'm staying home. I'm going to let the professionals do their jobs, and I'm staying home, and I'm right in front of the front door, hoping that they're going to walk in any second. That was exactly what Candace Bly says. She said that she wants to stay home with the kids as much as possible, because, just in case she comes back. She said this. So, I mean, which to me is exactly what any parent or loved one of a missing person would do. Um, Mike also on his program, in his video that he dropped, he also kind of shut down the connection between Summer's aunt, Candace's sister, who went missing back in 2009 from Wisconsin, and he's not seeing any connection. You know, it's just it's a horrible coincidence. And I just, you know, it just really sucks that we have to focus our energy so much on making, on trying to eliminate these folks as being suspicious, when we should be right off the bat just be supportive of them. And then if they say something that's suspicious, okay, but not look for every single thing that they say and find suspicion in it. It doesn't make sense to do that. It's completely insensitive. It's completely irresponsible. And I just refuse to engage in that. And you're right, Jen Perry, you're right. No matter what they do, they're going to be judged. It's just how that is. It's just how people are. You can't just change how people are. But like I said, I'm finding a lot of comfort lately that because I'm seeing the vibe shift in the community towards support, and that is, a lot of that is due to larger creators on YouTube that are using their channel very responsibly and having this type of influence over the community, especially a guy like Mike King, who's a professional. Excuse me. So I'm sure that they're still getting some blowback for some of the things that they say, but it feels like it's calming down. The creators that I would worry about most are somewhere in Colorado on a meet and greet, and I don't have to worry about them spinning this horrible narrative. So that's comforting to me as well. So I don't know who the Canadian guy is, but please don't drop his name in the chat. But luckily, yeah, I definitely try to avoid channels that do this. That Blunder channel is constantly now this just trying to save face and just desperately just putting out trash about this family, which I think is just, it's like, stop already. You know, if they had anything to do with this, somebody would have been arrested by now. You know, or if there was even any reason to believe it, they'd be under a lot more scrutiny, I think, by law enforcement. And I don't find it suspicious. I don't find it suspicious at all. That Don takes his kids to the water park. I mean, what's wrong with trying to keep your kids, the other kids that are still very much your responsibility? What's wrong with trying to keep them happy, trying to take their mind off of what's going on in the house, what the house is lacking right now? I just, you know, I don't see anything wrong with that in the slightest bit. I think that's exactly what these parents should be doing. Personally, the law enforcement straight up said, okay, well, you know, we don't want anyone who's not a professional and professionally affiliated with one of these agencies out there searching or doing anything, because we don't want our investigation messed with. We want to find Summer. And the best way to do that is to ensure that only professionals are engaging in this search. Right. I mean, it's not fair that life would have to stop. What you don't want is for this to be traumatizing to the other kids, to her older siblings. You don't want the situation to be traumatizing for them. I mean, so I don't see anything wrong with, so yeah, take them to the water park. If you can take them to the water park, great. You know, well, welcome. I'm glad you just subscribed to me, Exotic Eyes. Um, you're saying you've been saying this the whole time. People are facially profiling. I don't know if you mean falsely profiling, but yeah, I mean, we're none of us are professionals, you know. Like if like I just find it funny when when YouTubers call what they do uh interviews. I mean, I guess like if they're done well, I guess it counts, but it's like I can't do that. Like when I've had Colton Harris Moore on my channel 3 times, I refuse to call them interviews because they're not. I'm not a professional journalist. I'm just some guy with a laptop and a big mouth. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, you know. So it's like I just it's weird to me to be like, oh well, they're an exclusive interview. Like, I mean, really, but whatever. Jen Perry, thanks. That's really sweet of you to say. Yeah, I mean, I think that these parents are doing exactly what parents should be doing. I mean, now there was one thing, there was something about a yellow car. I kept rewinding it. Just the beginning of his statement wasn't clear to me for some reason, but somebody said that I think, I don't want to misquote him. I think he said something about law enforcement on the way there, seeing a yellow car speeding off on the way or something, but they were on the way to another call or something to that effect. I don't know exactly what was said. So don't quote me. But this is the first time I'm hearing about a yellow car. I mean, what I love is Mike King is he this guy's an investigator. This guy has real resources, and he actually looked into people who SA offenders that live in the area who drive Toyota Tacoma trucks. Oh, thank you, Darcy Miller. I appreciate that so much. I mean, and he's not putting anyone out there. He's not naming names. He's just saying there are people in that area that drive those. And he was also very clear to say that law enforcement has not named this person as a suspect. They just feel like that they might know something, that they might have witnessed something. So, I mean, at this point, people, all we can do is wait. At this point, all we can do is wait. I think it's beyond clear that there's no reason for us to be looking at these parents. I'm not saying that they're cleared of anything. Law enforcement has not officially, to my knowledge, said that they are cleared as any people of interest in Summer's disappearance. I'm not saying that at all. But we have to assume that they're not. We have to assume that they're worried parents. Otherwise, we're just a bunch of jerks up here, man. Like, I mean, how many of you are parents? And think about it. That's what's sad. Think about it. Any one of you guys, and your kid goes missing and it becomes a high profile case, the entire true crime community is going to look at you and start picking apart your life and your personal life. So, I mean, what good is that going to do? How does that help bring your child home? Let's see here. Sheila Foster Swanson, thank you for that. It makes me pretty sad that the parents were so heavily scrutinized. That dad looks just like every one of my Harley riding uncles. Prayers. Yeah. This guy, I mean, it's just, it's just so crazy to me that people are talking about this guy like he could have done something and start bringing up, now he did mention something. Now this is the stuff. So this person who unmasked interviewed Hunter's mom. Don mentioned that the reason why Candace and her don't talk anymore is because her oldest daughter, Hunter's sister, was having an inappropriate relationship with, and I don't know how old she is, with a 12-year-old. And she apparently asked Candace, her mom basically asked Candace to lie to the police about it, and she refused to lie to the police about it. Now, I don't know if any of this stuff is true. I have no idea if any of this stuff is true. I don't know if he's telling the truth. I don't know if she was telling the truth. But like I said the last time I was live, I found more reason to not believe her because there were so many discrepancies in the things that she was saying. I mean, there were just things that didn't make any sense. You're sitting here and you're trying to paint this guy out to be like he did something to his daughter, but A, he was at work and he works 45 minutes away. And B, you just said that Summer was his pride and joy, his princess. She was daddy's girl. You just said that. So if he had anything to do with it, which I don't think he did, there's clearly no reason to think that he did because he wasn't even there. But if Candace did something, A, I think he would be suspicious of her. He wouldn't be so supportive of her. And B, I think he would at least tell the cops. He would be like, you need to look at my wife, man. I mean, I don't care. Like, if I could have the greatest relationship with my kid's mom, but you better believe if she hurt my kid, I was going after her legally within the boundaries of the law. You better believe that I'm doing that. So make no mistake about that. Make no mistake about that. Don't care. Don't care. We could have the best relationship in the world. Doesn't matter. But if you hurt my kid, if I even suspect that you hurt my kid, I'm telling the cops. I'm throwing anybody I need to under the bus that's going to get my daughter home to me or justice. Bring justice. I'm going to do anything I can. Doesn't matter. So I just don't. I didn't see any. Yeah. I just didn't see, the more and more this guy talks, the less I see that he's any reason to be looked at, and going back with Candace saying she goes by Bly, her maiden name, not Wells. Well, I mean, that's what the way that I take that is for social media purposes. So people don't bother her on social media. Now, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, anybody could put two and two together, but seems like she's desperate to just take some of that off of her, get some of the scrutiny that she's getting. Um, so at this point, I mean, whether or not they were good or bad parents, or they're poor, or what, uh, they have a missing daughter, and that's the only thing that we should be concerned about. A little 5-year-old girl that's out there and scared. Hopefully, that's best case scenario right now. Yeah, don't go contacting these people, man. Like, whose channel did they take down, Kiki Rose? Who got zapped? Curious. Oh, I don't know Tiffany Marie. I don't think. What'd she get zapped for? Wow, bullying, huh? I mean, dude, you deserve that. If you're sitting here trash talking this family, like, and you don't know nothing about them, like Mike King made a great point. He's like, with the little bit that we know about this family, we don't have we don't have enough to judge their character. With just a little bit that we know, we don't have enough information to create a sound judgment of these people's character, much less whether or not they committed a crime. We just don't have that. Wow, she got banned. I mean, she had to have been doing something real bad. She had to have been doing something real bad. Dude, I don't know. I don't know who's out there, man. I don't know who's out there in Colorado. Hey, but speaking of which, guys, tonight, if you guys haven't joined Patreon yet, so what I do on Patreon is I discuss old cases. I discuss vintage cases. This one is about as vintage as it gets. I'm going to be discussing Ed Gein. Dude is a monster. But tonight I'm going to be discussing Ed Gein. So if that's something that interests you, you guys like to hear my point of view on old serial killer cases, things of that nature, you can join Patreon. Cherry K just dropped the link in chat. Yeah, we have a lot of fun discussing it. People need to stop judging this family on the way they live, and remember, this is about finding Summer Wells. I completely and totally agree with you. Yeah, Renee. Yeah, dude is real bad news, man. Uh, yeah. Real interesting stuff about him that I'll be going over. Um, easily, easily uh, one of the most remembered offenders in history. Um, Yeah, very vintage. Um, Easily one of the most remembered because of how horrific his crimes were. Um, and yeah, easily one of the most talked about of all time. So yeah, so once you, yeah, if you join Patreon, you'll see the post on the Patreon site on my Patreon page, and I'll have the link. It'll have the link for that live tonight, and I'm going to be doing that after this one at 10 o'clock Eastern. Let's see. Beans or Bop is saying, would this be the same story if they were upper middle class and well educated? Sadly, no. There would be no question, and the parents would not be under the lens. Not necessarily true. I mean, not necessarily true. Maybe, possibly, because I remember Shane Carey got a lot of scrutiny. And I mean, I guess he's not upper middle class. I'd say probably lower to just middle class. But I mean, definitely working class, you know. Chet Perry. My hat only matches my shirt because I prefer to wear black most of the time. I'm that guy. I was, I was hanging around with all the metalheads when I was in high school, and and I just kind of grew up that way. Never really grew up. Did I see the military plane that went down in the Philippines? Peace be with their families. Yeah, I did not see that, but thank you for bringing that up. So yeah, lots of love and prayers out to those families. That's horrible. Wow, you were married to a pastor, Mystic Firefly? Wow. Yeah, I'm not a Metallica fan at all. Like, I mean, I like old Metallica, like their early stuff. But yeah, Pantera, I dig Pantera though. I definitely dig Pantera. Uh, but I mean, I like all kinds of stuff. Uh, Lazy Egg is now a Patreon member. Welcome. And on and on. I haven't seen you in a while. Where are you, baby girl Summer? You have stolen our hearts. The world is praying for your safe return. Yes, we are. Jen Perry, I like Pantera, but I like Super Joint Ritual a little better. It's more my speed. Super Joint Ritual is pretty great. Same singer as Pantera, and Hank Williams III is actually in that band, or at least he was. And I'm a big fan of Hank Williams III. I think I like that whole lineage. It's kind of messed up though. Like Hank Williams Jr., man. I remember I went through this phase where I would listen to like 80s country. I would like drink whiskey and, and listen to like 80s country. And I would be listening to the lyrics and I'd be like, man, these are the most well composed lyrics I've ever heard, but they're the most racist and ignorant things I've ever heard anybody say. But I could still appreciate the art, I guess. And it's just basically like, I mean, they're writing songs to market to target a particular demographic, which I'm not exactly a fan of. But I mean, I listened to a band called Boris, right? And they're Japanese, and I don't know anything that they're saying because it's all in Japanese because I don't speak Japanese, but they're brilliant. So I've seen them live twice. let's see. Yes, I know. I just mean they were rich and judged, so I don't think it's just about income. I don't think it's just about income either. Uh, their house being messy or whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm listening to this thing, man, today, and I'm just like hearing this creator talk about how, like, you know, we can get some cleaning service to go over there. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, it's none of your business if their house is messy or not. You know? Hold on. Okay, so we're all singing Hank Williams in the chat. Is there Hank Williams Jr. in the chat? Is that what we're doing? You know what? You guys want to hear something really funny? So there was this guy. I know we're off the subject of summer and everything. I pretty much said everything I had to say about that, but um, there was this guy that he was one of my best friend's dads, and he's a Vietnam veteran, paralyzed from the waist down. I've talked about him on this channel before. One of the most fascinating men I've ever met in my life, and he was a big football fan, and we made it a thing to go to his house. And Kristen, welcome to Patreon. We made it a thing to go to his house and watch football. This is where my band practiced as well. So we practiced there at least twice a week. And he used to say this all the time. He would say, and this is how long ago this was, by the way, guys. Hank Williams Jr. used to do the intro for Monday Night Football. As anybody here who's a football fan that's over 30 knows this. So he would do the intro for Monday Night Football, and he would drink his little vodka cranberries, and he would say, and then, by the time the intro would come on, he'd be in his wheelchair, and he danced real. It was interesting how he would dance with his wheelchair, and it was just fascinating to watch, because he would have a rhythm, and he'd like do the wheelies and do all this stuff, and he'd be just really, really happy about Hank Williams Jr. And he would always say, as long as Hank Jr. is doing the intro to Monday Night Football, all is right with America. That's what he would say. And he's no longer doing that, and all is definitely not right with America. So I find that to be a very interesting prediction on his end. I like Gordon Lightfoot a lot too. I definitely like Gordon Lightfoot. What are my thoughts on the picture of Summer sleeping on the milk jug? I see a kid sleeping on milk jugs. It's hot. She probably wanted to lay down on the milk jugs because they kept her cool. Like, they just went shopping. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see anything suspicious about that. All right, Louisiana girl, thank you. Hold on, sorry. This comment. Right? I just do a whole 8-hour live on the picture on the milk jugs and start speculating all over that. Right? My house could be messy. I have 3 kids, but it's clean and my kids live in our home. My house is not a display for others, to look perfect. It's a home with love and laughter all my kids care about. Yeah, like, let's talk about that. So how do we even really know that their house is always dirty? Right? I mean, you got 3 kids in that house, right? You got 3 kids in that house, and they're running around. They're gonna make a mess. Like, hardly any at-home mom that I know is constantly cleaning, and that's what you would have to take to not have a messy house with 3 kids in it, especially 2 boys. You're not gonna. I mean, the house is it's gonna get messy. It just is. I didn't see a dirty house. I saw a messy house. I didn't see a dirty one. You know what I mean? Like, what do you expect her to just be behind these kids all day long, cleaning up after them? Some moms do that, but a lot of moms are like, whatever, I'll get to it later. You know, a lot of times the mom is like, as long as the house is clean, when hubby gets home, you know, and there's dinner on the table, then that's when I worry about it. So hubby gets off work, takes about 45 minutes to get home. Maybe she's like, all right, guess I better get up and clean up, you know? Right. Rachel Hudson, I'm telling you, of course. Of course. Yeah, all over the place, Mystic Firefly. All over the place. Toys everywhere. Let's see. This is why I don't post pics that have a messy background. People going to judge. Yeah. And don't take a car seat pic if you haven't taken off yet, because people will assume you aren't buckling them in. I mean, yeah, how many kids fell asleep in the back seat and end up leaning over? Too many overthinkers about milk jugs. Totally. You know, and for that lady that was on Unmasked, to act like that was somehow suspicious, you know, no, it's not. Like, listen, if that's true, and I'm not saying it is true, and I don't want to spin rumors here. I'm just saying this is just, everybody's got their own my word against theirs kind of thing going on. That's what's going on between Hunter's mom and Summer's parents, right? So I don't, you know, I'm not seeing, I'm not seeing any suspicion, you know, because she's trying to say, well, you know, I wanted to give her a hug and say hi to her and everything. Well, first of all, you're not even on talking terms, right? And if what Don is saying is true, like, your oldest daughter is having an inappropriate relationship with a 12-year-old, which I don't know how old she is, but I'm guessing that she's of age and it's illegal. And even still, if Hunter's 15 and he has an older sibling that's having an inappropriate relationship with a 12-year-old, that's already, even if that's a 15-year-old kid having an inappropriate relationship with a 12-year-old is inappropriate. It's absolutely inappropriate. 12 years old is just too young to be doing anything. So I'm just not, you know, I don't blame Candace for being like, you're not going anywhere near my daughter. You know what I mean? Especially you trying to tell me to lie to the cops. Like, no, I'm not going to let you touch my kid. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you let goes on in your home, and you want to cover up and lie? You want me to help you cover up and lie about it? No, hell away from my kid. You know what I'm saying? Renee, I completely agree with you. I think that she conducted a fantastic interview. She asked all the right questions. She asked them in a very strategic manner. She was great. I thought she was great. But because she was so good, made me realize that that Hunter's mom just isn't credible. I didn't believe anything coming out of her face. Just didn't. Sorry. Yeah, I agree with you. Um, they definitely have to be taught boundaries this day and age. Um, I don't really do that anymore. Gone prime time, but you know what? I'll let you up here if you got something to say. I'll let you up here. Sure, why not? Why not? I'm feeling saucy. I normally don't do this anymore. I told myself I wasn't going to be opening panel, uh, but I'll go ahead and open panel. Why not? Why not? I make the rules. I do what I want. Oh, so not panel? No? Okay. Well, okay then. Message retracted. What did you mean? What did you mean? Oh no, yeah, I removed that. If she didn't want to come up here on panel, I'm not opening the panel. I don't. No, I mean I'm cooking dinner tonight, but I'm not. I mean I'm making a big old pork chop and like leftover rice and beans from the other night that I got to eat or it's gonna go bad. So I'm not cooking on Patreon. It's just gonna be just like this. I'm not even drinking on Patreon. I don't think. I don't think I'm gonna do that. Normally I do like drunk true crime. It just makes it more fun. Uh, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna drink tonight. This talking about Ed Gein, man, I kind of feel like I need a drink because that dude is gross. Um, but there's also a lot of information. Let's see, Road King, Glare. You know what bugs me? Though they are judging parents for a dirty house, and how many serial killers were notorious for being super clean. Yeah, yeah, like obsessive. Um, in the crock pot? What? Maud Matilda? You made spaghetti in the crock pot? How do you even do that? How's that even a thing? Like just the sauce? Or did you use like fresh noodles? Yeah, Jen Perry, it's fun. We have a lot of fun in Discord. Um, the best thing about Patreon is the Discord, honestly. Cherry K is a blast. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with anything, man. Like whether or not somebody's clean or dirty has nothing to do with anything. What's up, Don Marie? It's good to have you here. Yeah, man. Join Patreon, dude. We have fun. We have fun. Let's see. Their house was small too, with 4 kids in quarantine. I mean, yeah, dude. Do you watch Hoarders to make yourself feel better? I hear that. Dude, I'm super messy, man. I'm super messy. Once you join Discord, or once you join Patreon, Kate, Cherry K will share with you. You get access to the Discord, and we have just a whole bunch of fun. But it is not for the meek. Oh, right on. Thanks, Kate. Yeah, yeah. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer. Sassy Nas pointing out a fun fact. I'll be talking about him one of these days in Patreon too. That dude is off the hook, man. I mean, he was awful, 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 awful. Hell, Dennis Rader was always out with a measuring stick, measuring everyone's grass to turn them in. He did if you had toys in the yard too. What a sociopath, dude. Like this guy. I mean, he was clearly already a sociopath, right? But what a sign of one. This guy was a Karen about people's yards. I mean, that was his job though. Like he did like inspections. I don't know exactly what his job title was. I don't have it in front of me. I don't remember. Yeah, BTK was yeah, he was bad news, dude. Um, yeah, Wisconsin, yeah. That's what I'll be talking about in Patreon tonight, Tracy. Worked with a victim that survived the Green River Killer in college in my internship. Wow. I just watched a thing about him. Uh, yeah, that dude was something else as well. The Green River Killer. Yeah. See that dude. That dude was the biggest coward of all cowards too, man. Because he targeted women that society had already given up on. Um, Women that people probably weren't going to miss very much. Um, and the way that he got rid of their bodies was just I mean, it was just completely discarded. Yeah, actually, I watched that series so far twice, both seasons. Actually, no, I watched the first season twice. I only watched the second season once. But I love that show, and I just finished the audiobook, actually, that it's based on. So yeah, I really really enjoyed that. Is really really interesting. That dude, the way that they capture him in the on the show, because the author is the character of the show, right? It's the main character of the show, and they capture him well, but it's because it's really funny. I'm reading, well, I'm not reading, I'm listening to it as I'm working out, but I'd be listening to this audiobook, and this dude was, I mean, he's so arrogant. I mean, he literally wrote the book on profiling serial killers, right? So like he wrote the book on it, literally. So it was just really really funny because like the dude knows how badass he is. He just knows, you know. So when you're hearing him, like this guy's just stroking his own ego through this whole book, but it doesn't matter because what he's saying is absolutely fascinating. Yeah, that's the thing about these, like these serial killers, man. Like they love to talk, man. They love it. Like Ted Bundy, supposedly was helping catch the Green River Killer. But I mean, uh, he wasn't much help. He was a little bit of help in trying to understand him. But the title of the book is Mindhunter, Jen Perry. Same as the show. Terry K, I have to give those disclaimers. You're awful. I have to give those disclaimers about Discord. I don't want some cookie cutter grandma joining my Patreon and then going in that Discord and seeing the filth that goes on in there. Being like, what? Mine too, Mrs. R&B. Mine too. Yeah, it would be Rachel Hudson. I am. That's true. I've dated a grandma or two myself, and yeah, Leanne Klein. It's true. It is absolutely true. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it. I still got to go to the stove, and for those of you who joined Patreon, man, thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll be talking about Ed Gein tonight. We're gonna have some fun. So I love you guys, and we will do this again very, very soon, my friends.